Yo, hello, and welcome to another tutorial. So, I recently posted this video on TikTok, and there were also a lot of people asking on how I made this effect. So this will be the tutorial showcasing that PixelWipe effect. Yeah, so this is the finished effect, and if we just jump over into the Fusion page, you can see there's quite a bit of stuff, but everything you need for this effect is these highlighted nodes here. This is like all of the stuff you'll need for the effect. The first thing you'll need is your footage. What we're gonna do is just put in a camera tracker and track the whole scene. So hit shift space, type in camera tracker, and then in here, preview auto track locations. Bring down the detection threshold to something really low, like even below the limit, like here. And then the minimum feature separation brings down a bit, like maybe 0.02, something like this. Now you can turn off preview auto track locations and just hit drag. Okay, so once it's tracked, you can go into the solve tab and just hit solve here. But yeah, now this will take a couple of minutes, so... Okay, so once the track has been finished, you should look in the average solve error, and what you're looking for in here is anything below 1. If the solve error isn't good, you can go here, apply track selection filters, then delete those bad tracks and just solve again. So now what we can do is take a merge 3D, then take the second output from the camera tracker and plug it into the merge 3D here. Now in the camera tracker you can show all names. This will lag quite a bit. Okay, yeah, never mind. Don't turn on the names because that lags on. And now Davinci Resolve isn't working. Great. Well, just try deleting some of the furthermost points. Okay, yeah. So now, once you've deleted the most furthermost points, you can just take the camera tracker and hit export. Now, you should get these 6 nodes here. You can delete the ground plane and maybe move the point cloud a bit. And now, what we're gonna do is kind of reconstruct the scene from these points. In the point cloud, first click make renderable, then add in a custom vertex, connect the point cloud to that, and in the vertex color, change the red, green and blue to position X, position Y and position Z here. Now you shouldn't really see any change, and that's fine. You're gonna hit shift space and type in UV map. With this, rotate it a bit to the right axis, then hit center and fit. Now, okay, seems like we forgot to delete some points. Let's go back a bit. Okay, and now it looks good. So what we can do is add in a render 3D, then change this from software renderer, hardware UV renderer. You could maybe downscale this a bit, just divide this by 2. And now what we can do is add in a clean plate node, and with this change this from color to ranges and grow edges like this. And now just hit fill for the rest of it. Okay, so now you can go back into your merge 3D with the camera and everything connected. First of all, disconnect the point cloud from this, then add in an image plane and connect that to a display 3D. Now take your clean plate and also connect it to the display 3D and connect that to your merge 3D. Now you should have something like this. Okay, so in the display 3D, change the channel from Luma to RGB and mode from relative to absolute, like that. So in the image plane 3D, bring up the subdivisions. Okay, so now we can just disconnect the camera from this, and we just have this big white thing in the middle here. And now the way I made the PixelWipe effect is I just use some sort of mask like this. It's super simple. the way that was made. So what we need for that is add in a background node like this, change it from solid color to gradient, and make the gradient start from the bottom and end at the top, like that. So now what we can do is just move these sliders here, and as you can see, the gradient moves. Yeah, and that's like basically the effect. I'm just using this luminance on here as the mask. What we can basically do is go to the first frame and keyframe it at here, so it's completely white or completely black, doesn't matter which way. And then move maybe 40 frames, 60 frames, whatever frames you want, and keyframe this at like 1.5, maybe even. And the first one you can keyframe at like you can keyframe that at 1, like that. So now you should have something like this. This is basically the PixelWipe without the pixels. Okay, so after fixing it, you should have something like this. So it's originally black and then it turns into white, like that. Okay. So now if we look at it, it should look like something like this. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, so now to add in that a little displacement, we can just draw in a displace map with a fast noise connected to it. Then maybe bring up the scale of this to like 30 or something. At the start we can keyframe the contrast at 0, and towards the end maybe at like 5 or something. So now it's slow. As it moves further, it gets more displaced. Or maybe at the start even like 0.7. And bring up the scale. Okay, yeah, no, that looks pretty decent. Maybe bring up the refraction strength a bit. So now what we can do is add in a mosaic blur, bring down the aliasing to 0, and also the pixel frequency up a bunch, like 600 or something. And now just remember, the pixel frequency depends on your clip. With some clips you may want a smaller frequency than with others. But for mine, I think this looks fine. So now, last thing we need to add to this color corrector. And in the levels here, you can change these sliders, like 0.5, and this also down here to 0.5. And now you should have this rough edge on it. What we should see is this PixelWipe thing. And now as you can see, it's pretty fast at the start. Like it just really jumps up a bit. So to fix that, in the background node we can open the gradient keyframes and just ease them like this. And now also what you can do is throw in a UV map. It might fix some issues with the texture. Not always, but just again rotate it and fit it with and without, fixes a bit of stuff. And yeah, now if we look at this one, we have the 3D PixelWipe thingy. Like, I think that's pretty good. I like that. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed, please subscribe and leave a like, and hopefully make more tutorials in the future.